Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis call, and this is in preparation for trading on January 1st, 2018. Just a quick disclaimer before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. All right, so as usual, we'll start off with our calendar here. And in terms of the Forex factories, the biggest thing was FOMC's statement here. And as expected, they didn't really change the interest rate. But FOMC was actually positive for the US dollar. And essentially what the Fed said was that since their last meeting, they're seeing continual positive data. They are positive about the economy. So they said that labor market has strengthened and economic activity is increasing and so forth. So CPI is not in line with where they would like it to be, but the rest of it is getting better. So as a result of that, we did see US dollar strengthen. So that was today. So going into our Thursday here. Oops, too far. Okay, Thursday we have, in the London session, we have PMI numbers. So PMI numbers are generally the leading indicators. That's why they are important. So the main one here is pound manufacturing PMI number here. And also this Euro final manufacturing PMI number will be important. And then in the US section, we have some preliminary non-farm and unit labor cost, that type of stuff. So not as important, but this one here, ISM manufacturing PMI numbers, will be important. So essentially tomorrow, for the most part, the focus will be on the PMI numbers. So PMI numbers lead to retail sales numbers. So if PMI numbers come out positive, then we are looking for basically positive growth in the economy, and then retail sales numbers will come out positive as well. So that's the correlation between the two. So that's pretty much it. So not a crazy day in terms of tons of news, but these numbers are kind of scattered throughout the London session, so we just need to bear that in mind. Now let's move on to our charts. So euro dollar here, interesting. Today we did see it push high, but then it failed because it couldn't really hold above the resistance here. So based on this type of a candle close, this is a pin bar here. We have a long pin. So I'm looking for a drop for euro US dollar. So in terms of, let's take a look at, so as long as price stays below this level here, I'm looking for this type of a move. So looking for it to drop. And as long as it stays below 124.50, we're looking for a further move to the downside. So this is where we are. And I'm looking for price to move lower. And the target will be 1.2336 level. So that will be the target to the downside. Looks like actually it's ready to drop here. Okay, so for British pound here, we do have a bullish candle close, but we do have a pin on this one as well. So as long as price stays below this previous day's high, so 142.36 area, looking for a drop in this one as well, because we are seeing that rejection, even though it was bullish earlier, but then it closed lower. So this is a type of move that I'm looking for in British pound as well. So the bias is to the downside. And if you take a look at the 1 hour chart here, this is where we are sitting. So I'm looking for a drop lower. So the first target would be in this area, 1.4100, and then looking for a further move. Well, first we have to get here. So 1.4100 will be the target to the downside here. Aussie dollar here already moving to the downside. We have a bearish candle close for the day. So that's a solid bearish candle. So looking for a further drop here. And the target would be 0.800 level here. So the bottom of this pin. So as we can see, price has held below the pivot point here. So now I'm looking for a drop into this previous level. So 8.00 will be the target. And we could see a drop into this level here as well. So we'll keep the target right into 0.800 for now. So bearish on Aussie. Same thing with New Zealand dollar here as well. We have a big pin. And as long as price stays below this 0.7390 level, we are looking for a drop in this one here as well. So a bearishness, basically what we have seen is we have seen some bullishness come in from the US dollar. I'm looking for a continuation of that. So New York traders got a chance to digest the FOMC statement. We haven't had the Asian and the London traders digest that information. So I'm looking for just a continuation of that strength in the US dollar, at least for tomorrow here. So looking for price to drop, and target here would be 72.80 level. Again, the bottom of the spin here. So that will be our target to the downside. So bearish for New Zealand as well. Dollar CAD here, this is the opposite. Price hasn't really been able to break, well, hold below this 1.2280 level. So for this, I'm looking for a move in the opposite direction here. We may see a retest of this, but that's the kind of move I am looking for. So the target here would be 1.2400 to the upside. So if you go down here, as we can see, price came down into this S2 area, and then it has picked up from there. It has pushed up. So now oil has sort of maintained its bullishness. So we could see this sort of come and test this level again, or even lower into here. But as long as it doesn't hold below this 122.80-ish area, we are looking for a move to the upside here. So that the bias will be bullish. Euro Swiss franc. That was a nice double top on Euro Swiss franc earlier today. We were trying to trade it here, and we got out as it got close to the news here. But that was a nice double top right on R2. But anyway, so right now we have a bearish candle close. So I'm looking for price to continue down lower. The challenge will be this 1.1540 level. Price, if the price does not break this level, then it could push higher. So we need to see a break of this. Otherwise, we could get a double bottom like that, and that could be problematic. If we do get that, if the price is not able to break below 1.1540, then we are looking for a push to the upside. But based on the daily candle close, it is bearish. So once we get that break, then we can look for move to the continuation to the downside. But for now, that is the support will be key. And in terms of pullback, we could see something like this. We could see one of these moves, then a retest of the low, and then finally a break. So that would be what I'd be looking for. But the bias is to the downside for this. Pound Swiss franc is pushing up higher as well. A very neutral close for the day. So in this case, I'm going to trade this as a range-bound market because as we can see for the last few days, price has been in this range. It hasn't really done much. So in this case, once price tests this 121.3250 level, looking for price to drop from there. If it comes into the bottom here, looking for it to bounce back into the middle of the range. So a potential sell will be at 132.50, and a potential buy could be at 131.25 level. So a range-bound move for pound Swiss franc. Dollar Swiss franc here, that looks bearish as well. So we still haven't managed to break the pin, but as we can see, there's pressure to the downside. Same as this one here. There's pressure to the downside here as well. So I'm looking for price to drop. The target here will be 92.60 level. So the bias will be to the downside for dollar Swiss franc here. Pound CAD here, we see a bullish pin bar, so this could push up higher, and the target here would be 1.7535 area. However, if we don't see a break of this previous high right here, then we could see a drop. But for now, we have a bullish pin bar, 2 bullish days in a row. It did test quite low, but right now, if it breaks here, looking for price to move higher into 1.7535 area. So bias is bullish for pound CAD. Pound yen here, this is bullish. So we had a big bullish pin bar and a bullish close for the day. So I'm looking for price to move into this previous high here, which is 15600 level. So the bias is to the upside for pound yen. Euro yen here, we are still in a range bound market here. We haven't really turned bullish, even though the candle close is bullish. This is what could happen. So right now, I'm looking for price to test the high, to test the top of the range again. If it stays below 136 or 13600 or that level, let's see, where are we at? 136.34 level. So as long as it stays below that, then we could see price drop from there. So basically, I'm looking for range bound type of move here, looking for price to go higher and then drop from there. So that's the that's kind of what I'm looking for. Retest of the high and then move back into the range. This one looks bearish. We have a big candle pin here on the top. So for now, the bias will, for Aussie yen will be to the downside. First target would be 87.50 area. And then once it breaks through 87.20, so bias is to the downside for Aussie yen. Dollar yen, this is looking bullish. So for last few days, price struggled with this support level and it hasn't managed to close lower. So now I'm looking for price to push up higher. And the target here would be a 109.80 level to the upside. So dollar yen is looking bullish. CAD yen here looking bullish as well. And 88... So we could see price come back into this 89.20 area to the upside, but I'm not sure how much strength CAD yen really has. So we'll have to see how it does. But for now, the bias is to the upside at 89.20. So that's all I have. Any questions or anything to add here? Okay, if not, we will call it a wrap. I'm just looking at this euro, considering if we should take a trade. The challenge is we'll have to let it run overnight. So where do we put our stop? The ideal stop would be up there, but that's a huge stop. The other one is we could put it in here, but a 40 pip stop, we do have a target of about 70 pips, or even into the bottom here, 123, maybe 55. So we're looking about 55 pips. So maybe we could take this trade. I do like it. Okay, so I'm going to send out a trade right now about here. Okay, so we'll see how that goes. I will put out a trade in the Skype room in just a bit here. If not, basically what I'm looking for in the morning is we may get the same trade here, usually kind of like this, and then a drop. So, all right, so that's it. We'll call it a wrap. I will see you guys in the London session then. Good night.